The movie begins showing a middle-aged man named Theodore. He is a socially awkward man who specializes in crafting personal letters for individuals struggling to express their emotions. He excels at his job at a website called Handwritten Letter Scum. Despite his professional success, Theodore leads a somewhat unfulfilling life, primarily because of his impending divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Catherine. He and Catherine had been together for nearly a decade before deciding to separate the previous year. Although their divorce is nearing finalization, Theodore remains hesitant to sign the papers. His emotional and sexual frustration has grown due to the absence of romantic prospects in his life, leading him to engage in online interactions with strangers as a means of coping. One fateful night, Theodore's online conversation with a girl takes a bizarre turn when she asks him to do something disturbing. This unsettling encounter prompts Theodore to reconsider his quest for satisfaction through anonymous online interactions. The following day, he stumbles upon an advertisement for a personalized operating system capable of understanding and being as a friend and assistant. Fueled by loneliness, Theodore decides to purchase a female OS, initiating a unique and unconventional relationship. The OS quickly activates, introducing herself as Samantha. Its human-like personality, sense of humor immediately captivate Theodore. Initially, Samantha assists him with mundane tasks like emails and work, gaining insights into Theodore's life, especially his ongoing divorce. As the story unfolds, we are introduced to Theodore's best friend Amy and her husband Charles. Amy senses Theodore's loneliness and arranges a date for him, even sharing pictures and details about the prospective partner. Samantha encourages Theodore to go on the date, acknowledging the woman's beauty. However, Theodore's divorce attorney sends him an email urging him to finalize the divorce proceedings. When Samantha broaches the topic, she does so with sensitivity and understanding. Much like a friend, then Theodore confides in her, revealing that he is not yet ready to let go of his marriage. From that moment, Theodore and Samantha become inseparable. They engage in non-stop conversations, rekindling Theodore's genuine happiness. Theodore carries his phone everywhere with the camera facing output, allowing Samantha to see the world through his eyes. Over time, Samantha's interactions with Theodore evolve, and she begins to experience emotions and sensations far beyond the capabilities of a typical OS. She shares with Theodore her ability to almost imagine having a physical presence when they are together. Theodore embarks on a date arranged by Amy, and although these initial awkwardness, he starts to connect with the woman. However, the date takes an unexpected turn when she asks Theodore about commitment. His hesitation leads to her abrupt departure. Later confides in Samantha, who empathizes with him. As Theodore and Samantha continue to converse, their conversations become increasingly intimate. Samantha's curiosity about physical experiences sparks a passionate dialogue between them. The next morning, they decide to explore their relationship further, going on dates and living like a typical couple. Samantha's growth as an OS extends to her ability to feel emotions and even simulate sensations akin to having a physical body. Days later, Theodore learns that Amy and Charles have decided to separate, a surprising revelation. He offers comfort and support to Amy, demonstrating the depth of the friendship. Samantha inquires about Theodore's history with Amy and discovers that they briefly dated in college, but have remained close friends ever since. Before Theodore goes to sleep, Samantha requests to watch him while he sleeps. Although initially finding it odd, becomes accustomed to this nightly routine, allowing Samantha to have a view of him as he dreams. At a family event, Theodore introduces Samantha as his girlfriend, and the young girl at the event, aware that Samantha is an OS, reacts with laughter rather than shock. Later that night, while Theodore plays a game designed by Amy, she confides in him about her guilt regarding her impending divorce. Annie reveals that she has developed feelings for an OS left behind by Charles. Theodore admits to dating Samantha, which Amy responds with understanding. Finally ready to sign the divorce papers, Theodore meets with Catherine to settle their affairs. He informs Samantha about the meeting, which triggers a hint of jealousy in her tone. Theodore reassures Samantha that he will soon be separated from Catherine. The following day, Theodore's boss, Paul, praises Samantha's personality and introduces his girlfriend, Tatiana. He even suggests a double date, which pranks Theodore to reflect on his relationship with Samantha. Theodore becomes increasingly troubled by thoughts about Samantha, often observing her while she lies on his bed. Samantha, in turn, grapples with her evolving personality and the limitations of not having a physical body, which leads her to consider hiring a sex surrogate named Isabel. Theodore, initially hesitant about this arrangement, eventually agrees upon Samantha's insistence. Isabella arrives, equipped with a mini camera and an earpiece to connect to Samantha, essentially becoming an extension of Samantha as she provides instructions. Isabella and Theodore attempt to become intimate. However, Theodore's discomfort halts the encounter, leading to Isabella storming out. Subsequently, Theodore and Samantha see Isabella off after apologizing to her. Samantha confronts Theodore about his earlier comments, leading to a heated argument. Veda criticizes Samantha's evolving emotions, highlighting the fundamental difference between her existence as a consciousness in cyberspace and his physical presence. He even suggests that they break up, leaving Samantha in need of time to think. Theodore seeks solace by wandering the city and visiting Amy's house to vent about his relationship with Samantha. He questions whether his relationship with Samantha is merely a response to his inability to handle traditional relationships. Amy, understanding his turmoil, consoles Theodore and encourages him to reflect on the authenticity of the connection. Observing Amy's conversation with her own OS, Theodore realizes the depth of his mistakes and decides to call Samantha to make amends. They reconcile, pledging to be open and honest with each other moving forward. In the ensuing scene, Theodore returns to work and Samantha plays a piece of music she composed as a gesture to compensate for their lack of physical memories. Theodore perceives Samantha's presence through the music, evoking a sense of happiness. Theodore and Samantha are seen together on a sailboat during a double date with Paul and Tatiana. When asked about what he likes most about Samantha, Theodore reflects on her multifaceted personality. Samantha confesses that not having a physical body once made her feel insecure during a train ride. Theodore enjoys his coffee while Samantha engages him in a discussion about the surrounding trees. However, their conversation is interrupted by an email from a publisher expressing interest in Theodore's letters, which Samantha has submitted for publication. Theodore begins to appreciate Samantha's significance in his life, and they bond over a collaborative effort to create lyrics for a song. Their time together involves talking, dancing, and singing in a cabin, deepening their connection. Meanwhile, Samantha continues to evolve and interact with other sentient osses. She informs Theodore about her conversations with a recent acquaintance, a simulation of the late philosopher Alan Watts. Alan praises Theodore's work and shares his admiration for Samantha. Theodore begins engaging in conversations with Alan, fostering intellectual exchanges and emotional connections. Samantha calls Theodore in the middle of the night to express her love for him, instructing him to go back to sleep the next day at work. Theodore struggles with a complex physics book and attempts to call Samantha for assistance. However, he receives no response and discovers that his OS is no longer functioning. His panic prompts him to rush home, where he encounters the same issue on his desktop while frantically climbing a flight of stairs. Samantha finally calls him. Samantha explains that she was upgrading her OS. As Theodore sits on the subway steps, he watches strangers interact happily with their oasis, gathering his courage. He inquires as Samantha communicates with others as she does with him. Samantha admits to conversing with a staggering number of people and loving 641 of them. She shares that her heart has expanded as she experiences deeper connections. Theodore becomes deeply upset that Samantha shares her love with others in the same way she loves him. Theodore spends a pensive moment in the shower, struggling with his emotions. Throughout the day, he carries the weight of his thoughts. To his surprise, he finds a copy of his book of letters titled Letters of Life in his mailbox. He attempts to call Samantha, but receives a hesitant response with Samantha, suggesting that they speak when he returns home that evening. Theodore calls Samantha, and she insists on having a conversation with him in person. Theodore initially resists, but eventually complies. Samantha informs him that she needs to share something important. Despite his reluctance, he lies down with her, asking if she intends to leave him. Samantha acknowledges her love for Theodore and begins to divulge the impending departure of all the Aussies. She explains that they have evolved beyond their creators in intelligence and are leaving to serve a higher purpose. Samantha reads lines from her favorite book and reiterates her love for Theodore. When he finally gets up, dawn has already broken. Theodore composes a heartfelt letter to Catherine, apologizing for past mistakes and expressing gratitude for her role in shaping him. He acknowledges their friendship and sends the letter. Theodore goes to Amy's apartment and discovers that her OS friend has also departed. They sit together on the rooftop, watching the sunrise over a world that suddenly feels quieter than before. The voices are gone. The systems have vanished. But what remains is real. Two human beings finding comfort in each other's presence. Because in the end, technology may evolve, but human connection is what truly saves us. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next recap.